So your next assignment, which is the final regular assignment before you move into the final project, is to do a virtual field trip and a written report. Originally this was an actual field trip, but with the coronavirus precautions, I want you to do this virtually now. So to just give you an overview of what you will have to do for this assignment, I want you to virtually visit a local gallery, an artist website, or a museum, and evaluate 2 water media paintings. And you're going to write a report about it. I want you to consider looking at local artists. We have a lot of great watercolor artists here locally. Up in the left we have Rita Hanks' painting called Fishnets. In the middle we have Bodega Big Halas by Dana Childs. She's a watercolor artist. And in the right we have Zero by Ronnie Rector. And she's a great watercolor artist who lives in Incline Village. So there are lots of watercolor options right here in our area. So what do I mean by local gallery? You want to virtually visit an art gallery, an artist website, or a museum with watercolor or gouache paintings. I prefer that the artist or the gallery are local to the Nevada, Reno, greater metropolitan area. Now these are some artists, galleries, and organizations in the area. I don't have their websites listed, so you're going to have to look up their websites. But the Nevada Art Association is in Carson City. Artsy Fartsy Art Gallery. Check out the East Fort Gallery. Again, I don't know if they have an online presence, but go ahead and Google them. The Artist Co-op of Reno, I think, are taking efforts to post online pictures of their exhibits. The Nevada Museum of Art, I know, does. The Strummel Gallery in Reno may be having online art. You can look up their artists, make sure it's a watercolor artist. I know they have some watercolor artists that they represent. It's a pretty high-end gallery, but look through the artists and make sure you're looking at an artist that strictly does watercolor or gouache. The Sierra Watercolor Society may have online. They often have exhibits throughout the year. They may be putting those online nowadays. So in any of those organizations or galleries that are showing online pictures, if you see a particular artist that you like, but maybe the image isn't good, then Google that artist. See if he or she has a website, or if the artist has been in a recent exhibit with another group gallery. Just do a Google search. It's pretty easy to do an online virtual gallery visit these days. So what do you have to do? You have to evaluate 2 watercolor paintings. So you have to evaluate 2. So you have to choose 2 paintings to evaluate. The paintings must be watercolor or gouache. I want them to be 2-dimensional, and I want them to be by 2 different artists. Don't do 2 paintings by the same artist. With a virtual tour, that should be pretty easy to find 2 different artists. I will say, even though it would be flattering, I don't want you to do a painting that I did. Pick a different artist. Okay, and then you have to do a written report about it. The report has to be at least 1 page, single space, typed, so approximately 500 words. If you're going to do it in a Word document, I think it even has a word counting system for you. I want you to title your piece. Give your written report a title. Include at least 2 images, 1 for each painting that you evaluate. Identify the venue that you visited. For instance, which virtual gallery, which artist website, or which museum did you visit, in quotes. Include your name, class, and section. Evaluate 2 paintings by 2 different artists. I said that already. For each painting, I want you to tell me the artist's name, the title of the work, what medium or combination of media did they use. You're only allowed to look at either watercolor or gouache. And you must describe how you know the medium that they used, or the media. I want you to give me the price if known. I want you to tell me the size. Oftentimes they'll list that on a for sale site. Did you take a picture of it on the wall? How big is the wall? how big is the painting compared to the wall? Those kind of things. Give me a good description of how big you think the painting is. And then give me a description of the work. I'll talk about that in the next slide. And again, make sure you include images of the works. You can include more than one per work, but you have to include at least one image for each work that you're going to evaluate. So for your written report, I want a description of the painting. What specifically drew you to those two paintings? Did the paintings have a distinct focal point? And how do you think the artist achieved that focus? Where did you look first? And why did you look there, do you think? What color harmony scheme was used? Was it triadic color harmony? Was it analogous color harmony? Was it tetradic? Use your art words, the things you've learned in this class. What watercolor techniques do you think the artist employed? Did they do puddle painting? Did they do flat washes? Did it look like they did wet into wet? Did it look like they did just wet on dry? What do you think based on your evaluation of the painting? Did you notice that they used any texture methods or auxiliary materials? Did they throw in salt? Did they look like they did sponging, etc., etc.? Did the artist seem to understand aerial perspective? Remember what that is. That's achieving the sense of depth on a two-dimensional surface. So you're evaluating a two-dimensional painting, but does it look like it has depth? How do we achieve aerial perspective? If you recall, value, temperature, intensity, and the size of objects all play a role in giving the illusion of 3 dimensions on a two-dimensional surface. Did the artist paint at least 3 color values in the painting? I've been having you do at least a light, a medium, and a dark tone. Did this artist do that? Do you think it helped create focus in the painting? Did you feel the artist had mastered their chosen medium, watercolor or gouache? So then once you've decided what you're going to write about, this is the submission criteria. So you need to type or copy and paste your report in the text entry submission tab. I'm going to show you an image in a minute, what that means. You may type your report in a word processing application such as Microsoft Word or Google Docs, but you must copy and paste the text into the text entry tab for this assignment. Please do not just upload a file attachment. I won't accept that. The text must be in the text entry box so I can grade it without having to download a file. In addition to content, the actual content and what you're trying to tell me, your report will be graded in accordance with college writing standards for spelling, sentence structure, paragraph, etc. So you're in college, write like a college student. Right, so here's the picture. So include images of each piece that you're evaluated, and you can insert them right into the body of the text. You can just click the little icon on the menu bar. I've circled that and pointed to it with the red arrow. Click that image, and then in the next slide you'll see examples of how to do the submissions. So the first thing you're going to do is follow these steps, 1, 2, 3 in red. Okay, once you're inside, so once you click that icon, it's going to bring up this insert image dialog box. So the first thing you want to do is go to the middle tab that says Canvas, and then click My Files. Just highlight it really. You click on it, it'll highlight it, and then you go to the Upload File button. That'll take you to your computer's filing system. So locate the image on your computer. So after you locate that file on your computer or your personal device, now you need to follow steps 1 through 3 as indicated on the right in that picture. So the first thing you'll do is make sure that your file name is correct. It's the right image that you want to upload. Then set the largest number down at the bottom part of this image. You'll see this where the 2 is. There's 2 dimensions. They should stay so the ratio doesn't change, but take the larger of those 2 numbers and change it to 300 so that your image isn't going to be too big for your text entry box. Okay, then click the blue Update button. After you update, the image will now be inserted inside the text entry box. You should see it now. Look at the picture number 1 there. There's an image inserted right inside the text entry box. And it's small enough so that you can still type text around it. If you look at the image that says number 2 on it, you can move that image around. You can right justify it, you can center justify it, you can left justify it. And if you go up to the menu bar, you can see where those options tool buttons are located on the menu bar. You can also drag, so just click the image. You'll get little move handles, white boxes around the image, and it'll kind of get grayed out. You can move it around by clicking and dragging the image. So play around, get the images so that they are in the appropriate place for your text. And you're going to repeat that process for all the images that you want to include in your report. Once you're satisfied with your report, click the blue Submit Assignment button at the bottom where the red number 4 is. So that's it. That's what you have to do for assignment number 7. It should be fun. You'll be looking at art. You'll see what artists are doing around the local area. In summary, you're going to visit a local gallery, an artist website, or a museum virtually. You're going to do this online. You're going to evaluate 2 watercolor paintings or gouache paintings, or one of each, and then you're going to write a report about it with images included. So that's assignment number 7. We only have one more assignment to go, which is your final project. And can you believe the semester is almost over?